Welcome back to the Flash by Night. Dude, keep it down. Keep it down. Welcome back to the Flash by. Really? Really? Right now? Can't you see? I'm keeping up with the comics. Clones. I tell you. Let's do this the right way. Welcome back to the Flash by Night channel. I am TJ, aka Flash by Night, and we are keeping up with the comics. Today we are keeping up with Robin, number 1, and Miles Morales Spider-Man, number 25, the beginning of the Clone Saga. So the first book we'll be keeping up with today is Robin, number 1, written by Joshua Williamson. And of course, if you know anything about The Flash, anything about Flash Rebirth, you'll know why I picked this book up and why in Joshua Williamson we trust. But here we pick up with young Robin, who is 14 years old, Damian Wayne. And actually, I'm not sure if he's Robin right now, but Damian Wayne kind of strikes out on his own. And when I say he strikes out on his own, I mean he is 14 and nobody in the entire Bat family knows where Damian is. So what he has gone and done is he has gone to seek out this tournament. I believe it's called the Tournament of Lazarus or the League of Lazarus. I'm sorry. He's gone and struck out to try and find this tournament, and he is going to fight his way there and prove he's basically the best fighter in the world. And as you see, this isn't even the tournament yet. This is a preliminary qualifier, I guess you could say, where he is fighting King Snake, who is Bane's father. I had no clue that Bane's father was a canon villain character, I guess you could say. But yeah, so Damian fights him for the right to go to the Lazarus tournament, and makes quick work of him. I didn't know that Damian was that good of a fighter to be taking out skilled grown men, basically without much effort at all. But he does take out King Snake, and he does make it to the Lazarus tournament after a pep talk from a surprising person. I won't tell you who that is, but the person that kind of tries to talk to Damian about what's going on, about his actions, is pretty cool. We'll leave it at that. But what happens next is that he ends up in the League of Lazarus, and he ends up on a boat, sort of akin to, and actually really like Mortal Kombat. That's the first thing I thought when I got into this book, and we finally made it to the League of Lazarus tournament. As you can see here, is I really got Mortal Kombat vibes from it. Also, if you look closely, there's a very familiar looking character down here. I won't say that his name, the name I'm reminded of rhymes with Slade, but the name I'm reminded of does rhyme with Slade. And there's a copyright infringement joke in there. It's pretty funny. But yeah, so he gets into this tournament. Some people know who he is, some people don't. And he's pretty brash and pretty confident in his skills, maybe overconfident. And I say overconfident because by the end of this book, something really surprising happens. There's a really big cliffhanger, and he gets to fight with one of the newer characters. Yeah, so that's kind of how Robin #1 goes. It leaves you off on a good cliffhanger. It introduces you to some newer characters, and the idea that there is this Mortal Kombat style underground tournament to prove who the best fighter in the world is. So I would suggest picking up Robin #1 and giving it a read. If you want to, the story actually starts in the backup stories of Batman 107 and 106 and 107, if I'm not mistaken. So if you want to check those out, I'm kind of jealous of the Batman fans because they have, for an extra $1, of course, they have backup stories of other related characters in their book. I wish the powers that be at DC would give me an extra story in my Flash books, but that's a whole nother story. Check out Robin, see what the League of Lazarus is about, and check out the last page. So the next book we're keeping up with is Miles Morales, number 25, the beginning of the Clone Saga. If you've been reading this run, the Clone Saga actually started around issues 7 and 8 when Miles was kidnapped by this AI called the Assessor. But then they kind of put the Assessor on the back burner and let him kind of stay out of the way until around issues 18 and 19 when the first clone showed up. But this is issue number 25, the actual start of the Clone Saga, and we kind of pick up where issue number 24 left off, which is Miles was coming back from an adventure and hanging out with Kamala Khan. When his parents, he comes home, his parents let him know that they're happy he's home safe, and he wonders why, and that's because there's a Miles Morales kidnapping a scientist on the news as they speak. Miles knows full well that there is the possibility of a clone in Brooklyn now, and as he talks to his parents about it, Ganke also shows up, and Ganke wants to tell him some other news that he has, which I won't tell you about, but it's kind of personal for Miles and Ganke, and I'm hoping they get past it, because right now Miles is kind of pissed about what Ganke came to tell him. And one thing that I noticed, and it's kind of making my wheels turn during the Clone Saga, is that this is the second time that I think Miles has acted aggressively out of character. This issue and the last issue, things have come up with Miles, and he's usually cool. He usually plays it cool and handles business. But the last two issues, he has kind of acted out of character, kind of come on really strong in some situations, and I am wondering what that is. They haven't changed the writers, so I don't think that the character's acting out of character because somebody doesn't know what they're doing. I believe it's on purpose, and I have theories. But getting back to the actual story, Miles goes off because Ganke and Miles figure out what the Assessor needs to make his clones more effective, and they figure out which laboratory that this clone may strike next. But when he gets there, Peter Parker also shows up, because of course there are clones in New York. It's all on the news. Peter Parker wants to know, and so he shows up. There's a mini skirmish until he figures out that the Spider-Man that is there is Miles and is not the clone. But they soon get encountered by the clone, and we find out that this clone is not just a regular clone. He is some kind of goo monster almost. And so there's a fight between Peter and Miles and the goo monster clone. I call him that because I don't have a name yet. And Peter and Miles basically stop him for a second, try to interrogate him, and again, Miles acts aggressively to this clone when he and Peter have this clone subdued. And Peter has to stop Miles from hurting this clone further when there's no reason to, which again makes me question why it is lately Miles is so much more aggressive than we know him to be. But a gas basically comes in, and someone frees this clone, and then they kind of show who that someone is, and that's the way the story ends. And that's kind of how Miles Morales number 25 wraps up. There is a backup story that has no relation to the Clone Saga. I don't think any relation to 616 continuity or anything like that. And I read this backup story, and I am not going to review the backup story. It knocked the book itself down a couple of notches. Some people can relate. I just can't. But the Clone Saga story proper was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I want to see where it goes. It's kind of a standard setup, but reading the solicitations going forward, it sounds like by issue number 27, whatever happened in Peter Parker's Clone Sagas is supposed to pale in comparison to what's going to happen in Miles' life because of this Clone Saga. And issue number 27 promises to bring that to life. And so we'll see how that goes. Of course, I'm going to keep up with Miles Morales Spider-Man because I always do. And I would hope that you would too. Like I said, if you want to jump into the Clone Saga, but you want some more context, issues 7 and 8 introduce the Assessor, and issues 18 and 19, I believe, introduce the first clone. So you can go ahead and check those out, and then come on board, hop on issue number 25, the Clone Saga, and yeah, keep up with us while we're keeping up with the Clone Saga. So that's it for keeping up with the comics. We are closing this out for today. Robin number 1, Miles Morales Spider-Man number 25, both recommended reads, both fun, both intrigue me as to where the story is going to go. Actually, maybe Robin a little bit more than Miles Morales Spider-Man, which is a little surprising. But Robin is someone who I don't know much about, and I would like to know more about him and this League of Lazarus, and I definitely need to know about this cliffhanger at the end of issue 1. So I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope you saw something you liked. I hope you might pick up one of these books and start reading the series. They're pretty fun. And if you did enjoy yourself, go ahead and hit that like button. If you want to keep up with me, keeping up with the comics, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, do all those good YouTube things. And if I missed anything, or if you have any questions, want to weigh in, want to say hi, anything like that, go ahead and leave comments. They are always welcome. And as I always say, love yourself, love others, watch out for clones, and I will be back in a flash.